Thanks so much for joining us tonight for News Center Maine at 11. I'm Bailey Cornick, and we have lots to cover tonight, but let's kick things off with the first check of the weather from meteorologist Alan Holt. A beautiful day, at least down where we were today.
Yeah, radar kind of tells where the rain was. It was in the foothills and the mountains. Today, though, much improved in southern Maine and a lot of down east Maine. A lot of the rain, again, confined to the foothills and the mountains, the highlands in Aroostook County. Coastal spots stayed pretty dry, although there were a few light sprinkles that worked through Cumberland and York counties this evening. These light showers are working through places like Litchfield and Richmond. You may get a little spritz in the Augusta area. But that's it for current rain. We'll see another chance tomorrow. Temperatures are mild right now, mid 60s for the most part, lower 60s to the north, some 50s showing up in the mountains. And there will be a round of fog in the morning. This will be focused along the mid coast and down east coast. Dense fog advisories are posted for coastal Washington County. Aside from that, it's a mix of sun and clouds with widely scattered shower activity in play tomorrow. We've got another disturbance later in the week. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. Bailey.
Sounds good. We'll see you later. Thank you.
Everybody is entitled to understand what's going on, whether what they're being accused of is actually legitimate, and ultimately, of course, if there is a criminal prosecution, then they're entitled to a jury by their peers.
That's Vice President J.D. Vance speaking in Brewer today on the fatal shooting of a man in Biddeford at the hands of an ICE agent earlier this summer. Vance calling Democrats, quote, dishonest about a federal investigation into the death of Johann Sebastian Duran Guerrero. This is the second time in 3 months that Vance has visited Maine. Vance today selling a message of economic progress and boosting his fellow Republicans running for office in Maine. Phil Hirschkorn reports.
In his 30 minutes of remarks, the vice president focused on the economy, saying that the Trump-Vance administration is overseeing a Main Street comeback and industrial renaissance. Vance pointing to 83,000 new factory construction jobs nationwide and saying demand for metal cutting and machine tools have hit a nearly 40-year high. He calls it an American-first manufacturing boom.
With last month's activity in the manufacturing sector reaching its highest level in years, we've created, in just 18 months, 29,000 new manufacturing jobs, and we've reversed years of wage decline where people were getting poorer. Now, finally, we're seeing wages up 4.2% just over the last year.
Vance extolling his host, Compotech, founded by UMaine graduates 15 years ago. It now has 85 employees producing armored panels for the U.S. Army to protect soldiers deployed overseas. Vance promising the administration will reimburse small manufacturing firms like Compotech for worker training and apprenticeships.
We want companies that buy American, that hire American, and that invest in American communities. I want to reward companies like Compotech that invest in their workers rather than in trying to ship jobs overseas just to make a quick penny.
Turning to this year's midterm elections, Vance depicted the Democratic Party as embracing socialism.
We've got a choice in November. Do we want a party that provides good jobs or a party that provides a lot of welfare checks? I vote for good jobs. How about you?
Vance voicing support for Republican gubernatorial nominee Bobby Charles and U.S. Senator Susan Collins.
Susan is the most independent member of the United States Senate.
And former Governor Paul LePage, now running for the 2nd Congressional District U.S. House seat.
I'm going to Washington to fight for you. I fought for you as governor. We improved the prosperity of the state when I was governor, and I intend to do that in Congress.
Mr. Vance said that LePage was better at fighting fraud as governor than the current Mills administration, calling them a bunch of jokers who are stealing your tax dollars. In Brewer, Phil Hirschkorn for News Center Maine.
So while there is a full crowd gathered at Compotech today to support the vice president, protesters gathered outside. About a dozen protesters lined South Main Street, making their disagreement with Vance and the Trump administration known. We spoke with some of the protesters and other opponents about why they decided to come out today.
Right now, it's mainly the increase in ICE enforcement around Portland. I think that's right now the priority, and what we need to really focus on is trying to get ICE out of Maine.
I think J.D. Vance coming to Maine to pat himself and Donald Trump on the back while Mainers are facing the cost of this administration and the Trump-Vance economy is quite frankly insulting.
And as you saw, Paul LePage also spoke at the event before Vance. He is seeking the 2nd Congressional District seat in the House. Vance credited him with doing a better job investigating fraud than the current Mills administration. Vice President Vance wrapped up his trip this afternoon. He flew back to Joint Base Andrews in Maryland following today's visit to Maine. Over in Skowhegan, independent candidate for governor Rick Bennett laced up his New Balance shoes today. Bennett continues his walking tour of Maine as he seeks to win the Blaine House. Bennett's tour started in Aroostook County and is heading south, hearing from Mainers on the issues hitting their region. Bennett says Maine needs someone not beholden to either party. Bennett left the GOP last summer as he started his campaign for governor and cast a Democratic ballot in the June primary. With the vice president in Maine, Bennett says if he's elected governor, he would choose when to align with and when to oppose the White House.
Well, I'll support whatever administration is in there when they're helping Maine, and I'll oppose them when they're hurting Maine. I think it's critical that we have good federal-state relations, but we also have to look after Mainers first, and as governor, I'll do that.
The Bennett campaign says the walking tour of Maine will continue heading south, with stops in Augusta and Cornish scheduled in the coming days. Nurses at Central Maine Medical Center in Lewiston held a rally across the street from the hospital today after they filed paperwork for a union this morning. We spoke with Katie Grinnell, a registered nurse who says she has been working at CMMC for over 8 years. She told us that while there has been a lot of behind-the-scenes work going on for a while, today marked a big step in their organizing process. She said that at the heart of their demands is community care.
Ultimately, we just want to give safe care to our patients. Safe care saves lives, whether it be safe nurse to patient ratios, having our charge nurses free from a patient assignment, adequate support staff, lunch breaks, rest periods, and the ability to speak out when we feel our assignments aren't safe.
According to a flyer shared with us by an organizer with National Nurses United, CMMC was one of several Prime Healthcare Foundation hospitals to petition the National Labor Relations Board to join a union today. The flyer says that once the union cards are verified by the NLRB, election details will be decided among involved parties. And a spokesperson for Central Maine Healthcare shared a statement with us tonight, saying in part that it, quote, values our nurses and respects their right to organize, just as we value the safety and care of all our patients. The statement went on to say that Central Maine Healthcare remains committed to ongoing transparent discussions and engagement with our nurses. And a new deal now in place for nearly 4,500 Bath Iron Works employees. The Navy shipbuilder and union workers agreed to a 5-year contract that offers a 17% raise in the first year, followed by 4% in each of the remaining 4 years. It also includes increased shift premiums for second and third shift employees. Union negotiators also worked in a clause that protects workers from new technology, artificial intelligence, and robotics in the industry.
It causes the company to need to engage with us at the earliest stages of any process when they might want to start looking into that kind of technology, so that we can have our say, that we can have our communicate our interpretations of what kind of impact that might have to us.
The union says these protections were important as other rival shipbuilders have begun introducing new technology in the industry. Shortly before noon today, Freeport fire crews responded to a fire on Independence Drive. In a post to social media, they say they arrived to find heavy smoke and fire on the outside wall of a building, making getting at the fire inside challenging. According to the post, the age and heavy timber used in the building construction made fighting the fire difficult. Crews from Yarmouth Fire assisted in fighting that fire. Freeport Fire says quick action on the part of the homeowners who heard their smoke alarm and called for help made a big difference in the damage caused. An investigation into what caused a fire at a Casella transfer station in Naples on Friday is underway now. The Naples Fire Department says crews discovered flames engulfing a large pile of trash there. They say the highly flammable debris and a lack of water in the area made extinguishing the fire take more than 4 hours. Environmental group says fires at waste facilities are becoming more common and can come with a variety of health risks.
Those fires are releasing toxic smoke. They're releasing fine particulate matter, which cause respiratory issues. They're releasing hazardous gases. There's a lot of harmful emissions that can come from these fires when you're burning everything that is in our waste stream.
A spokesperson for Casella told CENTER Maine a lithium-ion battery could have contributed to the cause of the fire. The town of Brunswick is warning residents about a scam involving fraudulent invoices and claiming to be from official town departments. You can see an example of one of these fake invoices on your screen right now. In a post to social media, the town said that it will never ask you to wire them money, and that authentic town emails will only come from email addresses ending in brunswickme.gov and civicplus.com. They say if you do receive one of these scam messages, you should not respond and instead report it to the Brunswick Police Department. That number is on your screen. There's much more to come tonight. An incident widely shared on social media at a Hallowell bar is now being investigated by police. Those details next. An investigation is underway into what police are calling an incident between a customer and a staff member at a bar and grill in Hallowell. CENTER Maine's Alex Askell spoke with the city's police chief and brings us the latest.
We are right across the street from the Quarry Tap Room, where police are now trying to piece together exactly what happened.
To events and stuff.
Hallowell Police Chief Zachary Kindlein says the incident between a patron and staff member happened Friday night into Saturday morning. These photos were posted online by a person claiming to be the patron involved. The incident has gained widespread attention on social media. That includes video claiming to show the incident. We are not showing that video because CENTER Maine has not independently verified the source. We can tell you the video shows a woman wearing a shirt with security on the back, holding another woman in a headlock. Chief Kindlein says it's still very early in the investigation and he does not have more details to share about the incident. He says Officer Johnny Narvez is leading the investigation and working to interview everyone involved.
I'm committed for the Hallowell Police Department to remain a neutral party in this. You know, any police department that's investigating anything, not just in this specific scenario, needs to be a neutral party and investigate things thoroughly and not take sides.
The chief says he has not brought charges against anyone at this point, and he will update the public when he learns more. In Hallowell, Alex Haskell, News Center Maine.
One of the co-owners of the Quarry Tap Room declined News Center Maine's request for an interview. Chief Kindlein says investigators are also working to get security video from the business. Still to come tonight at 11, a new move in California from the company DraftKings and what it could mean for the Native American tribes there.
And it was a gray, somewhat damp weekend. Totals were pretty meager throughout most of the state, with the exception being down east Maine. That's where we were focused for the highest totals, and that's exactly where they came. Nearly 2 inches in the Eastport Lubec region, about 3/4 of an inch in Bar Harbor. We do have more rain tomorrow and another system later in the week. We'll discuss after this.
So earlier today, Alan was talking about how we have this wonderful weekend ahead, which I find funny because it literally is a Monday.
It's
But,
Monday.
you know,
I mean, that's what we do. We come in. What's the weekend looking like? Good. Okay, we're good.
especially this time of year, too.
When they're precious now.
Yes.
There's
School
not many.
starting.
Yeah, we're coming to an end.
Summer's wrapping up.
Yeah, and right now, the weekend ahead's looking good.
As of now.
Yes, weather can and does change, so we'll see if it holds. But
it is known to do that.
It can do it, you know. This is a great shot, series of photos from Heidi and Porter, and this is in Oxford County, just beautiful with the hummingbird, sugar water, rainbow in the background. Great view there. The radar is fairly clean. The green showing up around the radar sites, that is some clutter. But if you look closely, these green shades are little showers working through. We've got one that's just east of the turnpike moving toward Gardner. Looks like that's going to stay to the east of Augusta. But this is just a spritz, like you're in the first row of a class and the professor's spitting. You're in the splash zone. It's really light stuff out there. Skies are mainly cleared throughout the state. I do think we'll see some fog develop. We are already seeing a reduction in visibility along the mid-coast. So mid-coast down east, think that's where the fog will stay into tomorrow morning. It's going to be thick in spots. So if you're driving around, maybe you're going out to like a Cadillac Mountain sunrise tomorrow morning in Acadia, there may be some thick fog on your adventure to that location. Little front out west will help induce a few showers tomorrow. It's not going to be impressive coverage. I think it's widely scattered, meaning there's going to be a lot of space between the shower activity. It's not going to be an impressive offering, but about 30% of the state picks up some rain tomorrow. Shouldn't be anything terribly strong. Wednesday looks great. A run at 80, mainly sunny skies. And then on Thursday and Friday, a system out west will approach that will help bring up humidity and raise the rain chances both Thursday and Friday. By the way, Thursday night, a lunar eclipse happening, and I think we're going to be on the cloudier side, so less than ideal viewing for that. We'll refine that outlook as Thursday night gets closer. But once this clears, which looks like it's going to happen into the weekend, Saturday and Sunday are looking really nice with the return of dry Canadian air. So comfortable Tuesday, Wednesday with humidity levels staying at a manageable range there, and then a little uptick Thursday, Friday, back down again on Saturday heading into the weekend. So Wednesday looking pretty good. Thursday, Friday more unsettled, and that system as of today is looking like it will clear out in time for the weekend. Same type of vibe at the coast, and not a whole lot of fluctuation in either the high or low temperature over the next 7 days. So highs generally in the upper 70s to around 80. Overnight lows generally in the lower 60s to upper 50s. And again, if that weekend forecast plays out, and it's hard at range, you know, we're still 5 days out, it looks really good. So hopefully we're a straight shooter this week on the longer range outlook.
We commit to the summer weekend.
We got to put something on there.
The
right now,
summer weekend.
Yeah,
yes.
It looks great.
Thank you. A vote is possible this week as the University of New England looks to construct a multi-million-dollar research pier in Biddeford. UNE received permit approval 2 years ago. Some residents have told us they're concerned about the project's environmental impacts. The Saco River Corridor Commission will likely vote on the issue at this Wednesday's meeting. The Biddeford Planning Board is waiting for the commission's vote before it makes any permitting decisions itself. And happening this week, the public is invited to listen in on the Maine Data Center Advisory Council. It's as AI data center developments remain a big issue among communities around the state. Under an executive order from Governor Janet Mills, the council will provide input on policies and other insight onto benefits and risks these centers have on Maine. The first public listening session will take place over Zoom from 1 to 2:30 Thursday. You can register through the state's website, maine.gov.